Okay, guys, this is going to be the environmental history, legislation, and economics for chapter 23 and 24 of our book. I have combined these two chapters. Please remember, though, that this video you're watching is only to enhance what you're supposed to read within your textbook. It is your responsibility to read each chapter that we go over. Okay? So as we get into it, I want you to understand the difference between conservation and preservation. Conservation is the sensible and careful management of a resource. Let's say, for example, I own a tree farm. I want to manage it so that I will continually use it as a resource that I can make money off of. Whereas preservation is setting aside undisturbed areas so that they're protected from human activities, say like a national park or something. Our environmental history of the U.S., if you look at this thing closely, you'll notice we are very reactive instead of proactive. The blue represents some sort of environmental disaster or crisis. And you notice then right after that are the laws and legal actions that went into place. What we need to do is be more proactive instead of reactive. Two that you're going to need to understand are the Montreal Protocol here to reduce ozone depleting chemicals and phase them out, and the Kyoto Protocol over here, which was used to reduce CO2 emissions. And there's only 3 countries that have not signed off on this, and the US is one of them. Some laws that you're going to need to pay attention to and understand would be the Clean Air Act, your Safe Water Drinking Act right here, your NEPA, your National Environmental Policy Act. Those are 3 right there that are very, very important to know and understand. Some important people throughout our history have been responsible for protecting the environment. 2 key players in that were Theodore Roosevelt. He set aside the first national parks here. Yellowstone was the first one, and my favorite guy, John Muir, founded the Sierra Club and was really instrumental in creating national parks and getting this gentleman, Teddy Roosevelt, and this is John Muir right here, working together to help save land so people can enjoy nature. Other people, James Audubon, if you ever heard of the Audubon Society, he was a painter, not a writer. That's him right here. And Aldo Leopold was a biologist who wrote Game Management and asked for taxes on guns and ammo. One of the most famous people would be Rachel Carson. She wrote Silent Spring, and it was a book that was instrumental in showing us the effects of DDT on the environment, most notably our national bird, the bald eagle, which nearly went extinct because of the use of DDT. Some acts you need to know. The important one here is NEPA, the National Environmental Policy Act. Says that you have to put an evaluation of the impact of federal highways construction and military projects. How will that impact the environment? And every time something is built by the U.S. government, they have to come out with the National Environmental Policy Act and basically write a report. Some other ones that you will need to know would be the Unfunded Mandate Review Act. This basically says that Congress cannot pass expensive laws that require individual states to figure out how to pay for it. Let's say they pass a law saying you have to you can only produce this much pollution in your state. Well, since this 1995, the government is supposed to help out. Laws, though, that were passed before were the Safe Water Drinking Act and the Clean Air Act. So states are responsible for making sure that they are up to code here with the regulations set forward by those acts. An environmental impact statement, very important to know. You need to know the long and short-term adverse effects that would be put onto the environment. These impact statements must be available to the public. Why are you doing what you need to do, building a road or putting in a shopping mall or something like that? And are there alternatives to the proposed action? Yosemite National Park, beautiful park. This is one that I have visited. I recommend going to, thanks to John Muir and Teddy Roosevelt. If you look, here is all of our national parks throughout the United States. Most of them are out west of the Mississippi. Right here, I visited a few myself. But if you look at this map of national parks and wild refuges, then look at this one where it shows all of our fossil fuels in North America. And many of our fossil fuels of coal, oil, and gas are found within those national parks. So if we didn't have Teddy Roosevelt and John Muir helping to protect the land, companies would just go in, destroy it, and dig up the coal, oil, and gas that are found within that particular area. Earth Day was established in 1970. It is on April 22nd, and we're going to celebrate that with us. And since then, we've created 11 new national parks.